If you're here because you want to write about the past, you want to write about maybe even some difficult things in your past, but you don't want to re-traumatize yourself. You don't want to haunt yourself. You're wondering, how can I write about this time in my life when it might have been difficult? Or you're a little bit afraid to write about something, but you want to write about something. That's what we're going to talk about today. Get a pen, get some paper. You're going to want to take notes, and let's get started. You might wonder who I am. My name is Elizabeth Wells, and I have been writing since before the age of 7. So, caveat, I am not a mental health professional, but I understand deeply the therapeutic aspects of writing, along with the creative aspects of writing. And I've been teaching for many, many years, and I am the author of this lovely book called Journaling for Well-Being and Peace. As we begin, I want to say that we are often writing about the past. Unless you're writing for the very present moment, which I have a video about, or unless you're writing to the future or brainstorming ideas, we're often recording things that happened. We're recording our feelings, our observations, our thoughts. So a lot of our writing is sometimes about the past. Anais Nin says, we write to taste life twice. She was an amazing diarist. I'm going to read you a quote of hers, in fact. Anais Nin writes, "We write to heighten our own awareness of life. We write to lure and enchant and console others. We write to serenade our lovers. We write to taste life twice, in the moment and in retrospection. We write, like Proust, to render all of it eternal and to persuade ourselves that it is eternal. We write to be able to transcend our life, to reach beyond it. We write to teach ourselves to speak with others, to record the journey into the labyrinth. We write to expand our world when we feel strangled or constricted or lonely." And I want to make a differentiation, a light differentiation between cathartic writing, healing writing, and creative writing, which can all bundle together in your writing. So I look at cathartic as being something when you just want to get something down on the page. You have to get it out of your system. Say something, express something. It may be something beautiful. It may be the ugly. It may be the hard, the difficult, your tears. It's if it's the hard, it might be like throwing up. You know, after you throw up, you feel better. You just want to get it out. And if it's the beautiful, you want to record it. You want to celebrate it. So there's that piece of cathartic writing. And then there's healing writing. When you go back to your past or something in your world and you look at it from all the different angles, when you go back with a new perspective or a different kind of wisdom that you've acquired, or when you go back to stand with yourself and to say, yes, that is my experience. That is how I feel. This is who I am. When you go back integrating the experience in some way, you might call that quote unquote healing. It doesn't mean everything's all better. It doesn't mean you've accepted everything for your life. It means that you've touched something in a way that might give you relief or expand your world. And then there's creative writing, which is so huge. And first of all, the very act of pen to paper or fingers to keyboard is creative. The act of sharing it with another, that connection to another, is creative, is a full circle. And you might take your writing formally into poetry, into an essay, into books, plays, into a business you create. That's all creative. So psychologist James Pennebaker did some research and studies and found that when people wrote about their past, about their thoughts and their feelings, they felt better. He called this expressive writing. Their mental and physical health improved. Do I think that you need to write about your past? No. Do I think that it might benefit you if you want to write about your past? Yes. The operative word there is your want, your desire. Is it something you feel called to do? And there are creative ways to do this. So several years ago, a woman came to me and she had had a surgery with not the outcome she wanted on her feet. And it really disrupted her life. And she saw mental health professionals about this and other things. And she told me this story. And I had this idea. And I asked her, would you like to write a love letter from your heart to your feet? A love letter from your heart to your feet. She looked at me. She said, okay. And she created a beautiful piece of writing filled with compassion and love for her feet from her heart. And she took this piece of writing to her psychologist. And her psychologist, she kept taking pieces of writing to her psychologist, and her psychologist is going, what's going on? So the psychologist wanted to get in touch with me, asked me what I was doing. And she said, well, could you get her to write about X, Y, and Z? I said, sure. And I'd flip it on its head and have my client, psychologist patient, write about A, B, and C. Now, the psychologist was coming at this from what I call a sledgehammer approach. A really heavy, dark approach. Can you get her to write about the pain of blah, blah, blah? And that's not my approach. So I created what was right for my client and actually got really lasting, beautiful results for her sense of peace and wellness and health. And she kept taking this back to the psychologist. That simple love letter started something. There was another woman who came. This was a class, and she mentioned that she might like to write about her past loves with her boyfriends. But she was afraid of bringing it all up again, and, it might make her feel bad. And I said to her, you don't have to write about that. It was just came from her. I said, you don't have to, but she wanted to. So we all set our pens to papers, the class writing. And at the end, she read what she wrote. And it was classical. It was eternal. It was inspiring. We were quieted in the class listening to her. Not only did she write in a healing way for herself, to witness herself, how she put her words to paper became poetry. And it touched everybody in that class. And it placed some of the difficult relationships in her life, in her brain, a little bit differently. And she discovered her creativity through this. That is healing, creative writing. I've had medical doctors who've come to me. Can you get my patients to write about the most painful things in their life? Can it go into their past? That is not always wise, because you don't have to come at your past with a sledgehammer. So how do you come to your past? With a lot of love, with a lot of tenderness, with a lot of kindness, with a lot of compassion for yourself and who you were at that time. I'm going to give you some good examples now of how to do this. And if you're getting some value from this, please subscribe, press the bell, and share. You can work with your body's wisdom about the past or the present. You can write a love letter from your heart to your hands, to your feet, to your brain. You can have your brain right to your heart when you're trying to make a difficult decision. That's another video we'll talk about. I had a client once who she had something with her wrists. She had her right hand right to her left hand, and she named them. And by the end, They had very different voices. She said her wrist felt freer. You can use your body to write to your past. You can use he said, she said. You can look at your past from the third person. So you can, as a woman, you could say, I watched her do this, or she said that. You can give yourself a little bit of distance from the past by using the third person. She said, he said. Tell the story through their eyes with she or he. You can witness your past from being a fly on the wall in the room. You can witness your past from being the statue or the painting on the wall. And what do they see? You can witness your past from the passerby who watched the experience. You can witness the past through another person's eyes, another person's hopefully compassionate eyes. You can witness the past from an animal that you place in the room with you, the owl sitting in the corner, your dog. You witness from another person's or animals or inanimate objects' perspective. To journey to the past and keep yourself safe, you can imagine all the elements that felt disparate for you, that felt disturbing to you. You could put them in a golden bubble or a yellow bubble or a pink bubble of light and freeze them. Freeze them. And you go and explore the past with them frozen so that you feel safe. It's almost a shamanic way of entering your past. You can bring a power animal with you. You can bring a wand, a sword, a crystal. You can explore the terrain of that past, the temperature of the day, the sky, the morning light. You can talk to yourself in that past from your adult perspective now and bring your love to that younger version of yourself. You can wrap your present day arms around that child. Hug that child. Tell that child how much you love them. And you may be having tears through this, and that's okay. And then you can ask if you want that child would like to come back with you home into your heart today. You could write in that way. You can ground yourself in the present. I have a whole video about this. Ground yourself in the present and write to your past. And make sure you write back to your present. Using your sensory smell, touch, taste, sight, hearing, sixth sense, sensing. I don't recommend, if you have trauma in your life, that you indiscriminately go by yourself to dig up your past and rehaunt yourself, unless you have a very good network of support. I recommend, if you want to explore difficult things in your past, that you do it in a group so that you have a witness, compassionate witnesses with you, and know that you don't have to explore your past. The past doesn't necessarily have to be gone through with a fine-tooth comb to heal everything about your life. There are many ways to bring love to your journey in the past and today and in the future. As Anais Nin says, we write to taste life twice, but we don't have to go hurt ourselves twice with the pain of our past. So you've gotten some suggestions today. You can write about the past from the present to the past to the present. You can use he said, she said. You can put your past and aspects of your past in golden light bubbles and freeze them. You can be the fly on the wall or the beautiful St. Francis statue in the yard, observing your past in a different way. You can write from your body, from your brain to your past, your heart to your past. You can write love letters to your past. You don't have to go in with a sledgehammer. I've had many talks about this with psychologists, medical doctors, psychiatrists, and parole officers. You do not have to use a sledgehammer to dissect, disrupt, bring up, heal the past. You can love your past. Or put it somewhere in a story. Tell a story about it so that you place it in your body and your brain differently. And share that story with others. It might become a very, very creative piece of writing that benefits not only you, but that serves many other people who experience something similar to you. I hope this video has helped you. Again, please subscribe, share, ring the bell. Check out the comments below, check out my book, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.